Most students know that they need to write a general essay that goes to all of the colleges on their list. That general essay is required by platforms like the Common Application, which most students use to apply. But the essays aren't over after that general essay, unfortunately. Most schools also have school-specific essays called supplemental essays. These supplements allow the school to understand how you might be a good fit for their community and get a more specific take on why you want to go to their school. One of the most common supplemental essays will ask you to answer the question, why do you want to go to this specific school? These essays want to know how you'll take advantage of the academic and extracurricular resources at that specific college. So in this video, we'll show you a couple of examples of these why this school prompts and break down how to best respond to them. Sample prompts and good and bad examples. Let's start by taking a look at 2 real prompts for this year that fit under the why this school archetype. Number 1, which aspects of the Tufts undergraduate experience prompt your application? In short, why Tufts? That's 150 words. Here's another one. Other parts of your application give us a sense for how you might contribute to Northwestern. But we also want to consider how Northwestern will contribute to your interests and goals. Help us to understand what aspects of Northwestern appeal most to you and how you'll make use of specific resources and opportunities here. That essay from Northwestern is 300 words long. As you can see, these prompts are basically asking why you want to attend the school in question. It's pretty straightforward. Northwestern spells it out even further and actually specifically asks how you'll use their resources to achieve your goals. Both of these prompts have word counts that are much shorter than that of the general Common App essay, and that's pretty typical of most supplemental essays. Those 2 word counts are pretty representative, and you can generally expect the why this school essay length to be between 100 and 400 words on average. That's not a lot of space for a pretty important question, so it's vital to use that word count wisely. The key to writing a strong why this school essay is specificity. You want to cite opportunities that are unique to the school that will help you explore your interests and achieve your goals, specifically. The more common mistake that students make is listing generic characteristics that could apply to any school. Doing that negatively impacts your application because it sends the message to the admissions officer that you didn't really do your research, you're not truly interested in this school, and so why should they really admit you? Here's an example of something not to list in your why this school essay. We're going to take the example of the Tufts prompt since we shared that one in the beginning. So here's an example of what not to write. I'm applying to Tufts because of its low student to faculty ratio, the strong math department, and its prime location in Medford, Massachusetts, just a hop away from Boston. When I visited the Tufts campus, the school already felt like home. So that example of a why school essay isn't great because many schools actually have low student to faculty ratios and strong math departments. There are also a ton of schools in or near Boston, many of which once again have low student to faculty ratios and great math departments, such as Boston College, Harvard, Northeastern, Boston University, the list goes on and on. The student also uses an emotional appeal with the line, "It felt like home." And that sounds nice, but it honestly doesn't really have substance, and it could be written for any school. You should really try to avoid making these general statements that could apply to any other school on your list. This example showed that the student didn't really think much about their fit with Tufts, and that Tufts probably isn't their top choice. You never want to convey to an admissions officer that your school isn't their top choice, even if you have stellar grades. Particularly Tufts is known for taking applicants' demonstrated interest more seriously than other schools. So if you show that you don't have much interest via your supplemental essay, you might end up waitlisted or rejected, even if your grades and your test scores are really good. Another thing that this example gets wrong is that it doesn't describe the student's goals or interests at all. It's important to not only talk about why you've picked the school, but also to show more about you and how your aspects fit with the aspects that the school is looking for. So now that we've gone through a not so great example of a why school essay, here's a good example. Here's something to actually emulate when you write this essay. So here's what to write. As a potential applied mathematics major, I hope to gain the tools to model political behavior. I'm especially interested in elections, and I'm looking forward to taking the course Mathematics of Social Choice, as the centerpiece of social choice theory is voting. I would also love to take nonlinear dynamics and chaos because it will teach me to use differential equations to predict chaotic behavior. So that essay, of course, it was a little shorter than a typical essay, but that essay was a good example, as the courses listed are highly specific to Tufts as well as the student's professional goals. We've not only learned something about Tufts, but also the student. Keep in mind that this wouldn't be a complete essay, it's just an example of good specific resources to list. So now that we've gone through a couple examples, you might be wondering, how should I get started myself and write my own why this school essay? So here are 3 steps that we recommend to actually get this essay underway. Number 1, you can make a list of the reasons you decided to apply. Number 2, you can research unique opportunities related to your academic and extracurricular interests. And number 3, you can pick your top academic reasons for applying and your top extracurricular or social reasons. So let's go through each of those in order. Number 1, make a list of the reasons you decided to apply. As you made your college list, you likely didn't pick colleges at random. At least we hope not. So because you didn't pick them at random, you should be able to ask yourself what drew you to the school in the first place. And also, what are you looking for a college in general? And how does this school fulfill those specific criteria that you've laid out? Your answers to these questions should overlap in many places because oftentimes the reasons are more general. Maybe it was the location, the school size, the academic rigor, great financial aid, a strong department for your major, a specific extracurricular you're looking for. Most of these reasons are not school specific enough to be used in a why school essay, but the exercise can still help you identify which areas you should research a little bit more deeply. For instance, maybe you chose a school because it was ranked among the top 10 LGBTQ+ friendly schools in the nation. If you were to research this aspect, you might look into the specific organizations that support LGBTQ+ students on that campus, and then you could write about those. Moving on to number 2, research unique opportunities related to your academic and extracurricular interests. You might be wondering where you can find all of these specific courses, clubs, and other resources that we're recommending you include. Well, the school's website is a good place to start. Or if you have a general idea of what you're looking for, you can even use Google with the school name in your search, such as Tufts Orchestra. For course descriptions and syllabi, you can visit the website of the professor who's teaching the course. They'll often post more detailed information than the online course catalog, which might even include things like readings and concepts to be covered, even more specific detail for your essay. For clubs, you can also try to find the club Facebook group, which might show recent events they've hosted. Facebook groups might even allow you to speak with a current student about their experience, which would be a really great way to find out more about the school. If you do reach out to Facebook group admins, though, obviously be sure to be courteous and respectful of their time. And our last tip is to pick your top academic reasons for applying and your top extracurricular or social reasons. So once you've done your research and you've found specific opportunities to cite in your essay, whether it's classes, readings from those classes, extracurriculars, you just need to pick your top 1 to 3 academic reasons and your top 1 to 3 extracurricular ones, depending on the word count, how long the essay is. Going back to the Tufts essay, the good example we gave was actually already 65 words, and it was able to mention 2 courses. Keep in mind that you not only have to describe resources specific to the school, but also how they'll contribute to your goals and reemphasize why you want to go to the school. The personal aspect is just as important as the actual opportunities. So be sure that you allot space to describe exactly why those resources make the school a good fit for you. When it comes to academic reasons, you're free to list anything from special programs to unique majors to specific courses or specific professors. However, we want to caution you against name-dropping professors, however, unless you're actually familiar with their work and have been following it for a long time. Otherwise, if you just name-drop a bunch of famous professors, it might seem like you're being disingenuous. We also want to reiterate that you should be sure to talk not only about academics, but your extracurriculars. College is not just about what you do in the classroom. Admissions committees want to be sure that accepted students will contribute to the college community, which often is built of those extracurricular clubs and organizations. You should plan to spend close to the same amount of space on extracurriculars as you do on academic opportunities in the Why School essay. So, writing the essay. We've now gone over how to brainstorm and research content for this essay, but what about actually writing it? Actually writing down the prose? Should it be as creative and flowery as the Common Application essay? Well, since the Why School prompt is more straightforward and the word count is usually much shorter, you really don't need to incorporate an anecdote or a narrative unless you really want to. For example, if you experienced campus and visited a really interesting course, or you sat in the meeting of a club that you liked, that could make for a strong anecdote to begin your essay. Just make sure that whatever story you tell has some substance, reflects a genuine interest, and isn't just a pretty simple narration of, I walked around campus and the trees were really pretty. Regardless of whether you use an anecdote or just dive right into your reasons for choosing the school, you just need to remember the 2 things that this essay should accomplish. It should, number 1, reveal more about your goals and interests, and number 2, describe how the school can help you develop your interests and reach goals by naming highly specific and unique campus resources, both academic and extracurricular. We hope this video was helpful in breaking down how to write the Why This School essay. If you want more essay guides and tips, you can check out our blog at blog.collegevine.com. We're currently posting breakdowns for many schools' supplemental essays, which will walk you through all of the prompts that each school requires and give examples of strong responses. As always, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more college applications content and leave a comment below if you had any questions or feedback. Best of luck in writing all of your essays.